It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, Superman is flying in the theaters. Phew. You believe a
Doing
man
barrel
can fly?
rolls, he's flipping around, he's making U-turns, he's doing all the things.
He's doing whatever Superman does. And we're going to review for that movie at the end of the episode today, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that. Avengers Doomsday set photos start showing up. I about put leaks earlier. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like what this is doing. But we've got to talk about Avengers Doomsday, which is filming currently. Street Fighter gets an electric cast, Mike. Eclectic, not electric. Eclectic cast. It might be electric. I don't know. Looking at this, I'm excited to go over this list of names with you because I'm like, it kept getting. I was like normal. Okay, this is getting out of control about halfway through, and then by the end, I'm like, I got to talk to Mike about this because this.
It feels like a Moneyball situation. I know we know very little about sports, but I've seen the movie Moneyball. Seems like somebody's casting this like Moneyball wise of just like, how can we get them cheap but also get the most bang for our buck?
If I'm gonna say it kind of sounds like a dollar store Fast and Furious cast. If I was to put it that way, but we can talk about that later because they're doing a live action movie. We are here for the second half of the year. We took last week off for the middle of the year, kind of take a break for everybody for the July holiday. I came back with all my fingers and toes, Mike. Hopefully you did as well. That's a plus. But in the meantime, we've got two losses in the comic book movie world to talk about here. And the first up is previous Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter. And Mike, I don't know if you're familiar with Jim Shooter's works when he was at Marvel or not. Marvel Comics, not Marvel Studios. So I was going to run that by you if you'd ever heard of him before that.
Let me know.
So he is the writer and editor for Secret Wars. So you actually have a book that he wrote. Probably not far.
I was going to say that
not far from you.
New Secret Wars or
original. He was the original Secret Wars. Writer. So he was he worked through the 80s at Marvel. Wrote for a lot of characters. I believe he got his first gig when he was 14 at Marvel, because he would write them ideas and they were like, yeah, you're hired, and then they didn't find out how young he was until much later because they were just kind of doing it by mail kind of deal. So and then he left to in the I think the 90s form. I think he was part of the Image comic books. Was that Image? One of the spinoffs. Maybe it wasn't Image, but one of the other ones. But he left when he left Marvel. He went and did some other stuff. But we are coming up on Marvel Secret Wars next, or I guess in 2 years. And he was the originator of the original Secret Wars comic books as well. I've had I've met him at comic books and or Comic Cons, and one of the best things was like, yeah, he signed my books, but like. One of the coolest things about this dude, like, is he like just listening to his stories about working at Marvel with like the writers and powers that be back then, like listening to like the inner office politics, was just fantastic. Like I've got a 15-minute, if not longer, audio recording that I was like, hey, can we just talk to you for a few minutes at a Comic-Con because nobody else was there, and we just we're shooting the shit forever, and it was just really cool to talk to him. So. He passed away of cancer, so we just want to kind of give him a shout out. And then more unexpectedly, actor Julian McMahon passed away, and he played the original Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So he was that. He also was one of the villains in Marvel's Runaways, and I think most people will know him from the TV show Nip Tuck as well, but he was our first cinematic Doctor Doom. So I just wanted to he passed away this week from like a secret battle of cancer. He didn't tell anybody, so sorry to hear that.
Nip Tuck was a crazy show. to channel surf across at like 11:30 at night when you're like 13 years old, and it's like in reruns because I think it's already been like running at that point in time. So bizarre. So whenever I see that guy's face, I'm always just like imagining the most outlandish like plastic surgery scenarios.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, he did like I said, brought Doctor Doom to life. So as we come into Doomsday and Secret Wars, again, we have Robert Downey Jr. playing that role. I think he, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. said they might have talked about the role beforehand. I'm not really sure, but yeah, just kind of bring it up there. So we'll get the downer news out of the way before we kick off into our show notes here. And since we've been gone for 2 weeks, thankfully news hasn't been too heavy, Mike, because of all the Superman movies coming out and Jurassic Park as well the week before. So thankfully news has been tight. But we'll jump into the first thing, a trailer for a movie I grew up loving as a kid, The Running Man. Did you ever watch Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Running Man?
No, weirdly enough, as much as I was born and raised on all things Arnold Schwarzenegger, this one is still on my list of haven't seen.
Oh my gosh, I love The Running Man. It's like that perfect encapsulation of like, hey, we're taking people and putting them in like essentially gladiator style death matches for the TV shows, and it's like that kind of like where the future to them is like kind of dirty and like grungy kind of thing. Absolutely love The Running Man. It's like just grew up watching it so much, and it was based on a Stephen King novel, but the new one takes actor I can't think of his name.
Glenn Powell.
Yes, Glenn Powell as the new Running Man, and it kind of looks like they maybe updated like modern version. And I've never read the book, so maybe it's a book accurate version of it. But this feels much like you watch Guns Akimbo, Mike, with Daniel Radcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a Guns Akimbo movie more than like, hey, we're putting someone in a very designated course, like, hey, we're sending him out into the world and people have to kill him for a prize kind of deal. Like a mixer of John Wick and Guns Akimbo, if you will, is kind of what I'm
Well,
getting.
I mean, I feel like the real X factor here is this is Edgar Wright's next movie, and Edgar Wright, I feel like, has been kind of dancing around this whole like iconic filmmaker kind of label for a while of like, oh, is an Edgar Wright film and an absolute thumbs up go no matter what it is, or where is his career going? And I was kind of surprised that his next film after I think it was Last Night in Soho was his last one, was going to be was like basically an IP movie, right? I kind of thought maybe he had reached a point where he could kind of do whatever he wants, but who knows? Maybe he's always. I could see Edgar Wright could be the type of filmmaker that would love to kind of like go back to, his younger years of, growing up watching, the original Running Man, or even reading the book. And maybe he's always wanted to adapt it, so now he gets his chance. That could be a possibility. Or maybe this is strategic, it's the whole, one for me, one for you type of situation.
Yeah.
He got to do his Last Night in Soho. Now he's got to do an IP movie. Maybe the next movie is that. But I mean, I think we're all excited to see Edgar Wright back at it. He's kind of one of those filmmakers where I'm always a little bit more excited when there's another writer or another collaborator involved. He's a very good director, but Baby Driver and Last Night in Soho were really good, right? But I feel like they weren't quite as great as some of his other works. But either way, it's got Edgar Wright's stamp on it, so I think that makes it a little different than just when they've brought back like any of those other kind of like 80s 90s action movies, from Schwarzenegger specifically.
Yeah, well, it's not Edgar Wright's twins, right? That he's doing, but I'm kidding. But like I said, it's got Michael Bacall, who co-wrote Scott Pilgrim versus the World with him on this one as well, based on the Stephen King novel. So there's a bunch of stuff going on here. It's interesting. Like when I watched it, I was trying to just kind of look like this is like a pretty star-studded cast. I don't know if you looked at Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo, Lee Pace, Michael Cera, William H. Macy, tons of people in this. So it sounds like it's a like you said, like this is like the not the indie film, like an Edgar Wright like group piece. Like, hey, I'm gonna appease everybody, make them some money, and then go take that money and make my own stuff again, kind of thing, or not. But I'm excited to watch it, I guess. But like I said, if anyone has not seen the original Running Man, Mike, like you have, I highly recommend you go watch that. Like that is,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
that is one that I recommend to everyone. That's like one. I think one of them. I don't even know if I saw that on VHS, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, Mike, I would buy it on VHS to relive that nostalgia. So yeah, we got the trailer link here. Glenn Powell's everywhere right now, right? That's the other take on this. Like he was, I know he's in Top Gun, and then Twisters, and just kind of skyrocketed the past several years. So good for him to be kind of that front man for this. Moving on, Mike, I've included a link here in our show notes to a leaked trailer of the Odyssey from Christopher Nolan that is currently filming, possibly wrapping filming, coming out next year. They included it before, was it Jurassic Park? I think maybe.
I saw this trailer before my screening of Superman.
Okay, I did not get to actually see this, so I didn't know it was officially out. They did not show this for me.
Yeah, well, I'm clicking into it now just to see if it's different from what I saw, because what I saw in front of Superman was very, very teasery.
Yes,
this is basically John Bernthal chatting with Tom Holland.
Yes, that's what this is.
And then you just see Odysseus like floating out in the water on like a shipwreck. Who's playing Odysseus?
That's Matt Damon. That's Matt.
Oh, okay.
Damon is Odysseus. Yeah.
You don't get a great look at him in the trailer,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's like in the first like promo photo, I think, with like the helmet and the beard. He's all grayed up a little bit. So Tom Holland is playing the son of Odysseus, is what I'm getting out of this. And so it's following the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan, his last movie was that
was it Tenet?
No, not Tenet. It's the bomb one with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, the
Oppenheimer.
I can, yeah, there we go.
I was gonna say, I'm like, is Barbenheimer? No, it's not Barbie. That was the other one. So Oppenheimer, and he's doing this one now. So he's got big cast. He's bringing Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, and John Bernthal to this movie. I'm excited. The Odyssey has always been like the basis for other movies. Like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was essentially like a southern version of the Odyssey kind of thing. Like allegories for it. Like, oh, this is similar to the stuff they tell in the story. So I'd love to see how Christopher Nolan kind of brings his like literal approach to everything to this film. So this teaser's pretty cool. It comes out next year. That's why they got the teaser out here. The only backlash I've seen, Mike, is that they're not using like language of the time to talk. Like, it's John Bernthal doing his best jump. Like, to me, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. As long as there's consistency, I guess. Like, right, like you're not gonna come across Matt Damon talking like he was back in ancient Greece. So like,
to me, it's so odd because I feel like the Odyssey, to me, it personally is like a high school book, right? In a sense of like that, like every high schooler gets introduced to the Odyssey as this, type of like, I guess, quote unquote, like ancient writing or whatever, like one of the first like stories or myths ever told. I don't even remember the whole trappings that the teachers spin the story up with. So to me, it's almost like, remember back in the day when they did that 3D rendered movie of Beowulf?
Yes.
I don't even remember who the filmmaker was on that. It was like the same thing for me there too. I was like, oh, why does this feel like homework?
Yeah.
So, but it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so obviously he has a take. So, I mean, I guess if there was one thing I had to see, the only thing I can really quite remember from my days of reading this back in the day would be like, there's a Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that'll be cool. Show me the Cyclops. So, and I think there's like also like sirens / like mermaids too. So, there could be some visual effects there as well. I'm just trying to remember anything from from like 11th grade, man.
Well, I didn't like, our school didn't read it. I've never read this in its entirety, I guess. Like, we kind of studied it a little bit in college and some of the writing classes, but yeah, like, I've seen, I'm trying to pull up some movies like where it was like trying to think, like there was like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is the only one I can kind of think of that's like very much like this is essentially the Odyssey or the Homer's poem of the Odyssey, and that's what it is. But I was trying to see if there were some other ones I'd seen, but like obviously there's some mythical adventures here. It's gonna be stories told. It looks fun. I think it's got a good cast. Like I'm not opposed to it, but like, what's Christopher Nolan's twist on this, Mike? That's the question, right? Like, what is he gonna be at? Is it time? It's not time travel. He's done too much time travel. Like, what's gonna be his little spin that he's gonna throw in here?
Probably full frontal.
Yeah,
that's gonna be his spin.
Yeah. Maybe. I would say maybe it's like, I don't know. It's not time travel, but like maybe it's cyclical. Like maybe the story is like, it starts where it ends kind of deal. Because he loves to throw in like some of those, narrative selections that make things look different. Or like, just, it's not like, hey, I'm sitting down watching just a normal movie. So I'd love to know what he does, but we've got a good year, till this comes out. So something to look forward to in 2026. Street Fighter, the live action movie, has got a cast announcement officially announced here, and I'm just going to go through these because I don't have anything else on Street Fighter. We've all played the game Street Fighter at some point in our lives, Mike. It's one of those things like if you've touched a video game controller, you've seen Street Fighter, Street Fighter. My wife could tell you what Street Fighter is, and she's not a video game person. But I'm going to go through this. So the cast for this is Andrew Koji, known from Snake Eyes, as Ryu, Callina, Liang as Chun-Li. She's a new actress. She didn't have a lot to her name. Noah Centineo from Black Adam as Ken. Jason Momoa as Blanka. Mike, this is where my eyes started to get a little squintier. I'm like, am I getting punked? Like, what day is it? Kind of thing. Because the only thing I've seen about Jason Momoa the past week is when he was moshing at the Ozzy's last concert, like last week or whatever. So I was like, is this just part of that? But no. Then we get 50 Cent as is it Balrog? Is that how I pronounce that? Yeah, it's all whatever. So yes, the rapper 50 Cent as Balrog. Cody Rhodes as Guile, the wrestler Cody Rhodes. Guile, everyone knows him. He's got that flat top, that high and tight, blonde hair in the game. Regular James Gunn collaborator David Dastmalchian as M. Bison.
Yeah, I love that guy. That guy's great.
Yeah, I imagine him being bulkier, but like obviously we don't know how the plot's going to work out in this. Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki. I don't know. I don't even know the Street Fighter character. Like that's the starting to get a little weird. Masked country music singer Orville Peck as Vega. So this is a guy who wears a mask while he performs, playing a person who wears a mask.
This is crazy. I've known of Orville Peck for a while now. I had no idea he had dreams to be an actor, and I don't know if his mask thing is if he's still like only masked. Like, is this the thing where people are actually trying to get a shot of his face? But I mean, if you just do Google image search, like he consistently has his mask on, except for maybe one photo. Either way, hilarious that he's going to be playing a character that also traditionally has a mask on.
There's a mask, yeah, absolutely. And then lastly, actor, wrestler Roman Reigns, famously known to be the cousin of The Rock, as Akuma, big bad of the Street Fighter. I guess I don't know if he's the big bad. M. Bison sometimes the big bad. Akuma sometimes the big bad. I never know who the villains are as they go through these games, right?
Listen, all they have to do is do better than the Mortal Kombat movie, and they have already kind of thrown the first punch for a perfect metaphor for these fighting video game movies. So everyone's just going to compare it to Mortal Kombat. So just do better than that, and you'll be fine. And Mortal Kombat hasn't even done the tournament yet. So I feel like they're off to a good start.
Mortal Kombat 2 will be out. So I would say they might compare to Mortal Kombat 1, but Mortal Kombat 2 will be the most recent. So I would say as long as Mortal Kombat 2 does a tournament, and then Street Fighter does some, like, this is enough actors. You can't have full screen time, like a lot of screen time for all these actors, right? Like, do you think they're just chosen for some fights, like some fight scenes, and that's about it? Like, I mean,
it could. I only know Andrew Schultz because apparently he's some sort of like podcaster that's been under fire all week for his political views, and I'd never heard of him before. So that seems like it could be a somewhat smaller role.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna talk about the box office later for Superman, but I think in general, box office numbers are nowhere near close to what they used to be. Kind
Yeah.
of when Marvel was in their phase 2, phase 3 worlds. So maybe this casting strategy also like just brings the budget down a little bit of just
Well,
like, hey, we're gonna strategically use some money on
no,
people like Jason
yeah,
Momoa.
no one is. Jason Momoa feels like like his Lobo thing. He's like, I just want to be in I want to be in a Street Fighter movie, right? Like, because Blanka is noted historically a very large green monster with long red hair, spiky hair. I think a lot of people, to me, and I didn't even think about Mortal Kombat. I've not even thought about the other movies except for the original Street Fighter. Have you ever watched the original Street Fighter movie?
Oh
from
yeah.
94?
I need to go back and watch it.
Oh.
That came out at the perfect age where it's just like I could find it entertaining, but even I knew like this isn't really as good as some of the other movies I've seen out there.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme as the lead character, and then I think it's the last role for Raul Julia. He had like stomach cancer like while he was filming that movie, but he went out on such a high note with that. Like you want someone who knows what movie they're in. By God, it was Raul Julia in that film. But yeah, it's wild to go. I was watching. I think I was listening to a podcast or watching because they actually were talking about the movie and then how they made Street Fighter the movie, the game, where they took like photos of the actors and like the poses and like put them in like a Street Fighter game themselves. And it was just like not as good. But like I'm interested in this. Street Fighter really hasn't been at the top, I guess, of fighting games in the past several years either. Like a lot of people, like you mentioned, will talk about Mortal Kombat, they'll talk about Tekken, a lot of those other ones coming out. But this is interesting to me. I'm not precious on Street Fighter, Mike. I don't think you're precious either on this property. But
Nope.
as long as it's a fun time, I think that's what we're looking for out of this. Moving on, The Last of Us season 2 is wrapped up. Season 3, it was already greenlit for it, but sadly, Neil Druckmann, co-creator, and Hallie Gross, the writer for the show, have exited the series ahead of season 3. The official statement is that they will go back to focus on Naughty Dog, the video game company properties, since I think he is the CEO of the company as well. So he was doing both TV and video games. So I've not known of a Naughty Dog release in a hot minute, Mike. So they probably need to deliver a video game. Maybe
this is
Last
funny.
of Us Part 3.
Well, I don't think we ever talked about the finale of Last of Us season 2. Were you watching it? I don't even remember if you were keyed into this show at all.
No, I watched the first season, but watching the first episode of the second season, like, this isn't for me anymore. So I'm out of Last of Us.
Yeah, I have a real close friend who is heavily invested in the Last of Us universe. He's played the games many times. He's kind of just like a casual sit down. How quickly can I, beat a level, or how slow can I go through a level and read every additional like pamphlet or text or item that you can pick up. So he's really into the game. Was optimistic after the first season, and then just the other day he told me season 2 he thought was just trash and everyone responsible for the show needs to be fired in a way. So I don't know if this is a good news or bad news for him. Do we think Neil Druckmann and Haley Gross were the issues, or do we think it's more of the traditional TV side that is making the show or the problems? I'm not too sure. I'm not as heavily invested in the lore of the show, so I had an okay time with season 2, even though there are some things I thought were kind of strange. But I'm still gonna watch season 3. But also, I love Naughty Dog video games. Like, they're great. I love Uncharted. I love the Last of Us games. Like, I would love another game from them. I know they're working on that like space So if them going back over there gets that done a little bit faster, I'm down for it. So I feel like because maybe this could be good on both fronts,
Yeah, so I'm looking it up here. Just kind of the president is Neil Druckmann, by the way, not CEO. Sorry, of the video game company Naughty Dog, and I'm looking at their Last of Us in the past since 2007. All they have unreleased so far are Uncharted games and Last of Us games. Intergalactic will be the first IP that is different from those two since 2007 for Naughty Dog. So I believe they will probably. I think the last 3 games are just remastered versions too. So The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020 was their last original game. So yeah, I think a game company needs to release games to stay sustainable, right? So I believe, to me, I'm not as cynical. I think if you're in a president of a video game company, you should probably focus on that, and not the TV version. Like let the TV people run the TV show. Just they already have the story from the game, right? Like Last of Us Part 2 has been done for 5 years. So go do that. And even if they're working on Last of Us Part 3, they could provide the story beats, kind of like how what was that show on Netflix based on Gerard Way's comic books? Umbrella Academy.
Oh, that went so well.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, exactly. They didn't have anything to go off of to end on it, so it kind of went that way. But like, a video game company probably needs to focus on video games at the end of the day that aren't just, again, like I said, remasters again. So we'll keep you guys posted as season 3, part 3, whatever they're calling it, comes out for The Last of Us. Probably a year, maybe 2 years. Do you think? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Shifting gears into other video games. I got a game thing I'm going to add to this, but mostly shows. Venom from Sony is rumored to be getting a animated project. Possibly, most likely a movie from Sony, Mike. And the theory is, part of this rumor is that it will follow the next person who was Venom, not Eddie Brock. We already got that with Tom Hardy, but Flash Thompson, who obviously was a Spider-Man bully from the comic books and movies, as we've all seen. He lost his legs, I think it was like in the Afghan war, and then he gets bonded to the symbiote in like an experiment, and it gives him like, it looks more like a soldier symbiote rather than like the big bulky Venom, right? You've seen the work of like the artwork of Venom with like the belt pack. He's like got the belt pack on. Yeah. It's kind of like tactical Venom.
I think it's Agent Venom, right?
Yes,
isn't that usually what they call him?
Yep. I also want to put it as like I don't think this is a Spider-Verse spinoff. I don't think they'll do it in the same vein or style of Spider-Verse, but obviously with the success of Spider-Verse, I wouldn't put it past them to at least consider doing something similar with Venom. Now that they're not going to be doing live action movies.
As of right now, Sony Animation is killing it. I haven't finished the movie yet, so I can't render my final verdict, but K-pop Demon Hunters, which is on Netflix, is a Sony Animation picture, and it's fantastic. The visuals are stunning. The writing's great. I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and should probably finish it here, probably by tomorrow. I'm watching it in chunks as I take care of a snotty-nosed toddler. But yeah, it's so weird. Sony is such a weird place of just like, Sony's adapting your favorite comic book character, and then you pause and wait to see if it's going to be live action or animated. So you said animated, so yes. That's good news.
Yes. They also this year they have Gendy Tartakovsky's Fixed coming out, so it's by them. And then I didn't know this, but there's a movie called GOAT coming out where he's a basketball player. It's
like I think it's made. I think Steph Curry's attached to that. So I don't know. Something tells us that movie's not going to be for us specifically.
Yeah, but you watch it blow our mind. Well, I mean that's watch it blow our mind with
you know what, and it can. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we want things to be good. That's what it is. So here the thing is like I would love Across the Spider-Verse is essentially Ultimate Spider-Man. I would love an Ultimate Venom story because the Venom in the Ultimate Universe was created as, he's not an alien. The symbiote was created as like a cure for cancer or like, disease kind of thing. And then it like kind of took over its own thing and became, the Venom that we kind of more kind of what we know. But like, I would love that origin where it's a created symbiote, rather than like an alien, if you will. And I think that the Spider-Man games kind of lean into that, right? That it's a created Venom. Like Venom was created in Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. So love to do that. I think this is smart. The other thing is, Mike, speaking of video games, that there's allegedly a Venom video game, standalone video game that will be announced at the Game Awards this year to be released next year from Insomniac. That honestly wasn't. It might have been in those leaks a couple of years ago from Insomniac, but like everyone was like, "Oh my God, Wolverine," and focus on that instead. So, I would love to go back and replay the Spider-Man games, but once you 100% them, there's no reason to go back. So, would love to see a Venom game kind of set in that world because it's all the same assets, right? Like Venom, maybe he's hunting down the Carnage symbiote that was teased in there. We'd love to see some of that stuff. So, we'll keep you guys posted on that. Shifting over to the Marvel universe, Mike, Sinners continually, I think it's still in theaters. Possibly people are watching this movie still months later. But in case people hadn't heard this news, they purchased a warehouse full of costumes from the 1920s meant for Marvel's Blade. So they were working on Blade as a 1920 period piece. And before all the troubles, we don't know how far it got before the troubles happened, but they had costumes. And for Sinners, Ryan Coogler's movie, he just purchased the warehouse full of those costumes, and that's what they used for the movie, which is also a 1920s vampire movie.
Yeah, this was a funny bit of news because this was like a rumor. Like I swear, like over like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's finally been solidified, which is now I can kind of like fully think about it, and which it's funny like this is not like an unnormal thing to happen in Hollywood. I think there was a show on, oh God, what was it? Steve Buscemi was in it. It was like during like the Prohibition, Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
I think all of those costumes ended up going to another show or movie or something after that show was done. And these period pieces can be extremely expensive to make due to things like costuming. Yeah. So, I'm not surprised that those went on to another movie, which was really good. Also about vampires, which was funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And by a director in the Marvel, I guess Coogler would have had some insight into like the costuming, maybe, since he works with Marvel before. Like maybe he knew, like maybe that's what kind of helped it a little bit. Which is cool. Like, nothing against this, because obviously we always talk about it. We look out there in pre-production. Pre-production is not just someone writing on a piece of paper. Like they're designing things, visuals, costumes, making sure things actually translate from the paper to reality. So, it's interesting that they got this far, but I would love to, I want to see what Blade has adapted to, since they're not going to be using these costumes or anything anymore. So would love to know about that. And that's kind of what brings us to our next piece. The current rumor, I guess maybe it wasn't even a rumor, I think it was more of like a report, is that Marvel has hired a screenwriter for Midnight Suns. So it sounds like post Secret Wars, they're going to be bringing in ways to get Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night and Blade, and we've talked about Ghost Rider till we're blue in the face the past couple months. So it sounds like that may be the direction they're going in. And the current report says that they're looking to, or rumor is to adapt the comic Damnation, which is where Mephisto took over Las Vegas. Now, mind you, they may not take over Las Vegas. It's just like hey, some demonic entity has made a deal with the city and has taken it over. It's going to take more than one person to save it. Wong, I believe, was part of it. He needs to, I think or Doctor Strange might have created a team to kind of go in and free the city. This one will probably have Wong, but the comic book had Blade, Ghost Rider, Elsa Bloodstone, Man-Thing, Moon Knight, and Dr. Voodoo. We don't have Dr. Voodoo yet in the TV, so replace him with Werewolf by Night, and we've got pretty much all the rumored characters lined up here. What do you think?
Well, I mean, also based on, no spoilers, but based on the ending of Ironheart, we could possibly see Riri Williams in this mix in the future, especially with some of these other possible story
There's a lot of
characters.
mysticism in Ironheart. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of...
which is funny because I don't... Did you finish Ironheart yet, Chris? I don't know. We haven't really talked about it.
Not yet. But my wife... So it's like one of those shows that I have to watch with my wife as she was traveling and got back at the end of it. And I've had some work changes, so I've not had time to sit down and even watch it yet. But it is on our to-do list.
Stay
Very,
tuned,
very
folks.
soon.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe
Hopefully
next week.
Hopefully
we'll,
next week. Yeah.
dive into that one.
Yeah.
But man, Midnight Suns. I feel like every other month we talk about this movie, and it's always in a different iteration. So one day,
I think we're getting a lot of like, if you look like alpha releases, beta releases, final releases, we're like in the alpha phase of like whatever Marvel's doing after Secret Wars. Like we know X-Men are coming. We've got a lot of hints to mystical things, other dimensions, supernaturals, and it feels like this might be their next step without having to do it. But like with the way Marvel Television's going, I like all these plans might have at one time been on the table for Marvel TV, and now we're just kind of like, we don't want to, but we're going to see where it works. Because like I said, even in my notes here, like just because Marvel hired a screenwriter doesn't mean it's greenlit, but it's definitely something they're looking into, right? Like, so that's interesting. And without Marvel Studios films proper at San Diego this year, I don't think we're going to get any news, any announcements on this stuff until next year, if you will. So, we'll probably be on a lot of rumors and not a lot of definitive answers. Later this year on Marvel, on Disney Plus, we get finally Wonder Man, one of I don't know if this is a remnant of the other one, because this is like a Daniel Destin Cretton piece, right, from Marvel. So I don't know if this is like a old regime, new regime kind of thing. But the upcoming Disney Plus teaser features that the character will have some powers or abilities. He smashes a desk and he does something else.
Yeah, he kind of like implodes a soundstage, it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Either that, or it's like one of the things they're filming the movie, and those are the effects they're putting around him. One of the two. We could be totally being gaslit on him having some powers in this show, because it's talking about the movie process. But that's coming out December 2025. That is our next live action piece after Ironheart's. Now this will be the next one. We do have Tales of Wakanda and Marvel Zombies in the meantime, so those will be coming out I think August and October. So I think every 2 months we're going to have some of those things wrap up as we kind of go through. Mike, I sent this to you because it didn't have any spoiler pieces, but Fantastic Four released I would say a non-story trailer in the retro futuristic style, something that you would see at the drive-in cinemas way back in the day. And I just love the aesthetics of this trailer so much, Mike. I had to share it with you. And I don't know how you're feeling about it. We're 2 of the 3 tentpole movies this summer out of the way. Jurassic Park, Superman out of the way, up next Fantastic Four. I just love them leaning into this weird, the Fantastivision, the old artwork and styles of like things you would have seen in the 60s. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a shot towards the beginning of this trailer where the Thing picks up a car, and I don't know if this is intentional or unintentional, but the street that they're shooting on just looks like such a classic, standard, like New York pre-built set, right? But I feel like everything that was filmed and produced back in this kind of era that they're replicating was all shot on lots as well. So it kind of gives me this like weird feeling of like, it doesn't really look like a New York to me, but it looks like a set, but also like everything back then on TV looked like a set. So I don't know if there's like this meta level going on there, but yeah, everything's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, they're leaning into the original like 4x3 framing, the visual things, introducing the characters. The fact that the the Baxter Building has a conversation pit is absolutely awesome about this. And then we get to see a couple Herbie shots, and then obviously we talked about the bearded thing, right? The thing with his beard is going to be a
just before the bearded thing, there's like maybe like 4 frames where you get to see Mr. Fantastic like actually stretch more than just he did in the other shot, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I don't think they're hiding it, but like they're definitely not letting people overanalyze it yet until it comes out. So I'm excited. Again, the only thing I would say the biggest complaint about this is that they play that Fantastic Four song, like they just keep doing the Fantastic Four words in choral or a chorus over and over. I'm like, yeah, you could probably reel that back just a hair, but
I counted it. It's 31 frames of Pedro Pascal stretching.
there you go. I think there's even another one, possibly even earlier on when they're introducing the characters, but maybe not because he's doing the science experiment. But either way, very, very fun videos coming up here. 2 weeks we'll be talking about it, so check that out if you want. Like I said, not story-related trailer, so if you're worried about spoilers, I think, Mike, you would say this is a safe trailer to watch. It's just more of a highlight.
Yeah.
Right? So. Next up, Avengers Doomsday. I thought this was fake. This is actually confirmed to be real. A leaked set photo shows Ebon Moss-Backrack, who plays the Thing in his motion capture, Russell Wyatt as U.S. agent, and then the new Falcon. I can't think of the actor's name.
Is it Torres, or is that his character's name?
I think his character's name is Torres. On set in a built very clean, very white room with a bunch of blue screen and what looks to be the inside-out control panel.
Yeah, my first instinct was like, oh, is this a spaceship? Especially with, you have like the big observation deck and the control panels. But I guess theoretically, this could also be TVA related. I mean, the panel does have lots of physical buttons and stuff, but it doesn't quite feel mid-century. But, it could be a unique room in the TVA. We can't rule that out necessarily.
Yeah, it's weird that the panel is curved as such that it comes out of the ground, right? Like everything else is very, I would say, almost Fantastic Four-esque. Like maybe not quite TVA. Maybe this is a Fantastic Four panel, like Mr. Fantastic ship that we saw at the end of the Thunderbolts. Or maybe they've merged together. But to see, obviously, the Falcon, the Thing, and U.S. Agent, not finalized, but, working the way to it, is getting me a little more hyped that this is coming. That they're actually going to be merging these characters together rather than having them be siloed for so long. I thought it was fake. I literally thought the U.S. agent, I thought someone cut him up, like a shot from another one, and put him over that panel until I started looking at the reflections and stuff. I'm like, oh, well, these people are on a glass set.
That's what made it feel real. Actually, it all felt real to me because nothing fantastical was going on in this picture, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when anybody makes something fake, specifically to get clicks or headlines, they go one step too far, right? Because they're thinking, oh, I got to put something in here that gets headlines. I got to put something in here that gets clicks. Where this is just extremely mundane. That is just Russell Wyatt over there oh, in this next scene, I have to press a button. Yeah. Oh, which one is it? I got to make sure I don't miss it when the cameras start rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. So I again, using my imagination, I don't know what this is going to take, but I love the aesthetics. I love what I'm seeing. Hopefully we, we obviously don't want the whole movie spoiled for us as we go to it. Oh, the other thing, in this photo, Mike, if you click on the photo in the bottom right, it's Letitia Wright's Black Panther shoe. That as someone pointed out on Twitter, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta bring that up because you don't see her, but that's 4 actors, I guess, on set here that we can see.
There you go. So feet pics.
Yeah. But Black Panther, Falcon, U.S. Agent, the Thing, four characters we never would probably thought we'd see together in a while. I was watching the scene from Infinity War where Thor shows up in Wakanda the other day, and I'm like, I want that feeling again when Thor shows up, making the most epic entry ever, right? Saving everybody. But then you had Black Panther, Captain America, Hulk in the Hulkbuster armor, and, Rocket and Groot showing up with Thor. I'm like, man, I can't wait for all these characters to give us those moments. Yeah. So hopefully they do sooner than later. Batman. Everyone's always asking, where's Batman, James Gunn? And he's like, shut up. Let me get to Superman first. But James Gunn has said he expects to have 2 finalized Batman scripts before the end of the year. We recently talked about the Batman Part 2 being completed, turned in from the writers. And then most likely he will have a draft of The Brave and the Bold within 6 months. So, sure. I just hope they don't come out at the same time, right? We don't need 2 Batman movies in 1 year, Mike.
That would be confusing.
Yeah, well, at least would it pass the mom test? Having 2 Batmans come out in theaters?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not. Maybe if one of them was animated, right? But no, this ain't passing the mom test.
Yeah, mom test. Yeah, she wouldn't know. But yeah, hopefully they're smart enough not to do that. But having 2 Batman things going on at the same time is gonna be interesting. Quick update on Lantern. So Nathan Fillion, who recently played Guy Gardner in Superman, says he has dropped more F-bombs than any other project he's worked on while filming the Lanterns TV show, and he's not even a main character. So
That's great. I love that for him.
Very interested in that. He will, Nathan Fillion, he'll appear in the DCU series. Lanterns will be on. Is now back to HBO Max, as we've talked about, as another Green Lantern. And he will also be in Peacemaker season 2, right? That we saw from the trailer. It's him, Hawkgirl, and Maxwell Lord, right? Were the three who were giving Peacemaker hell in that. So he's getting a lot of use out of this Green Lantern role, right? Very, that and they must be like, hey, we got this wig. How much can we get you to wear this bowl cut wig as a Green Lantern? So good for him. Mike, that brings us to our last bit of news here. We can spend the last, 15 plus minutes talking about Superman from the DCU, the first DCU movie, the second property after Creature Commandos, written, directed by James Gunn, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and almost any other DC character except Batman you could want here. So it came out on Friday. I saw the Tuesday, or I guess Thursday, Friday, whatever. I saw the early screenings from Amazon Prime on Tuesday. It's currently sitting roughly around $122 million domestic, which makes it the third highest opening of the year, behind Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch so far. So
yeah, I thought it was pretty funny just how the discussion around box office has really changed over the last couple of years. Like, could you imagine if any superhero movie debuted with $120 million weekend, just back during like Marvel's early phases, right? Like that was considered low. Like they were shooting for like 500 like a million. I know it's like the full run,
that's
but
that's worldwide. That's worldwide though. Like again, this is domestic. So they have another 90 million international, which brings it around like 210 maybe worldwide. Which I thought Jurassic Park would beat this, if I was going to be completely honest. But Jurassic Park wasn't even in the running for like being close to 122.
Well, also too, this is as of right now is almost like a loss leader. It's like the rotisserie chicken at Costco. It doesn't really matter how much it makes or how much it costs. Mm-hmm. It matters, can it launch 10 more movies after it? Is it good enough where people are going to keep showing up for the next chapter in the story? So, they could have spent $400 million on this and they could probably find a way to justify it. I think it was around like 250 budget, if I remember right.
Yeah. I don't know but budgets are so weird, but like also at the same time, this movie is doing what other Minecraft movie and probably Lilo and Stitch movie are doing. Like, it's not just the film. Guess how many toys, how many action figures, how many other things are they selling that are Superman related, right? Like in this interim, I had a ton of people wearing Superman shirts when I were at my screening, like just like the standard blue with the new logo on it. But like this is a merch seller as well, right? It's not just about the box office. They're selling tons of other stuff.
You can't underestimate just how iconic of a character Superman is. I mean, Marvel has kind of been like the new thing, the Spider-Mans, the Captain Americas, the Iron Mans, but Superman and Batman, they were all there before those universes even kicked off. It's funny that you bring up the shirts. I met a new neighbor in our area. They invited us in for a minute to chat. He was just casually wearing a Superman t-shirt. Shopping at Costco yesterday, I saw a dude in an entire Clark Kent costume. He had like his hair done up, wearing the glasses. He had a button-up shirt halfway down with the Superman logo underneath it. So, yeah, you can't fight that iconic imagery that's been around for too long.
Yeah, and so I would say what people would consider the longest superhero, right? We've got the movie. He's had old TV series, comic books, animated. Was it the Max Fleischer? Mm-hmm. I don't know how to pronounce that. Animated show. I've got a Superman TV in my house, Mike. A little Superman tube TV in my house. We had the animated series of the 90s. They had the Adventures of Lois and Clark. They had Smallville. Even the Snyderverse people had their Superman and their stories as well. So, this is just a character that's been around forever. And honestly, we have talked. We don't want bad movies in any of these things. We don't want any bad movies to be bad. But and we don't think. And I agree that James Gunn is going to make the worst movie known to man. Right? Like that would be wild to think that someone who has done the Guardians films and TV shows and has been promoted, fallen upwards, if you will, into co-president of DC Studios at Warner Brothers, would make something that you're just like horrible and like repulsed at, that would drive people away from the movie theater. So I don't think we had any concerns that the box office was going to be anything short of like, yeah, this is pretty good. Right, kind of along that road. So, sounds like it's going to be doing well. And for people who don't know, the next DCU movie will be Supergirl next year, which I'm surprised, Mike. I didn't see a trailer. I haven't seen a trailer for Supergirl, not even online yet. Which I was surprised because I thought they would bring that into this a little bit. I thought that we'd have a trailer going into this, or at least exiting a little bit. But let's we can talk about non-spoiler reviews, thoughts. Let's jump into that to get off with. And
let's do it.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go first on this, since you're fresher.
It was a surreal experience to be back in the movie theaters after having a kid that just turned 1. But we were able to leverage daycare hours a little bit, make our way to the theater in the middle of the day, and so it was just nice to sit down with a gigantic Diet Coke and movie theater popcorn again, and we just had a great time. I mean, this movie feels like it lives and dies on turning the Superman animated TV show into a live action movie. There are just so many striking visuals, fun, crazy, wacky set pieces. I've said this before when we've talked about the trailers for this movie, but it was great seeing it in person, of just how nothing's holding this universe back. I don't want to give anything away, but there is a bit of a preamble at the beginning of the movie kind of setting up the world. And this kind of abnormal world from ours has just existed for a couple 100 years already. So humanity is already over the fact that there's superheroes out there, and we just get to jump right into it, which I think strategically was such a good idea. So when they do like really wild things in this film, like they don't really have to go out of their way so much to earn it like you would in a Marvel movie. Like in the Marvel universe, we really had to build our way up to things like outer space or interdimensional travel or things like that. But in like the Superman movie, you can just go at it, just get crazy, put the most fun thing on screen that you can, and it was just a blast. But that's when the Saturday morning cartoon stuff is going well. There's some other things that you kind of unfortunately have to treat very sophisticated, or else it just kind of falls a little tone deaf. So there's some kind of international like country border conflicts in this movie that I get that they're really trying to resonate with things happening in real life, but it kind of just feels a little hokey in this movie, unfortunately. And also, we are in such a weird time for journalism as well. And this, kind of like a lot of other Superman stories, relies on the fact of like, oh, if we can just get the truth and hit publish, the day will be saved. And I just feel like the world has maybe changed a little bit too much for that to be true for just any normal audience sitting down in a theater nowadays. So I think it is unfortunately fighting some of that reality, but everything else is just a smile from ear to ear, just watching just some of the funnest, wildest stuff I've seen in the theaters in a while. So I text you after the movie. Usually we kind of hold it close to our chest and we talk about it here live on the podcast, but I think what I text you sums it up pretty well, of like, it's not perfect, but I had a good time, and I think this is a solid base to build on. So, Chris, spoiler free, let me know what you thought.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm going to be a little more down than Mike is, because, you literally mentioned the preamble, which I think does this movie a disservice out. Like when I have to read the history of the world on the screen as the first opening thing, I'm already upset at this movie with that. And I'm not saying the whole movie's upsetting, but like as you've always said about Marvel, the Iron Man is the inciting incident, right? For that thing. They have now painted their Iron Man incident by telling us what this like, and this isn't a spoiler. It's like 30 years, 3 years, 3 months, 3 hours, 3 minutes ago. Like they literally painted their opening and like now you have to follow these rules kind of deal. And I didn't care for that too much, but for me, this movie, again, you mentioned that it's touching on modern things. To me, that doesn't bother me too much. Like there's border things and the idea that Superman is a foreigner and an alien, an immigrant. Like this movie was done a year ago, filmed almost 2 years ago. So it's really hard to pull back on some of those more things that are happening now that they did not plan on 2 years ago, right? Like when they were actually working on this. So to me, that's kind of unfortunate for them that people would hone in on that. Not you, the other people, you know who I'm talking about. So I don't know. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's a great movie. There are moments in this that are absolutely like my face grins, smiling ear to ear. Some of the best action scenes, some of the most fun I've had in cinema all year. And then I think I told you this, Mike. The same thing is like there are times when my eyes roll so far back in my head because they did something like I'm like, this is the stupidest choice of you could have chosen for this movie. There are 100 million things James Gunn could pick to do, and he chose the stupidest one out of all those choices in a few things, and it really kind of it prevented this movie from being the best movie of the year, but it doesn't mean it's a bad movie through and through. People ask me, what do you think? I'm like, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. And 6.5 out of 10 is not bad. That's above average. That's good. I had a good time. But there are some things in here I think James Gunn's sensibilities again got the best of him, and I'm like, you should have just reeled it back in a little bit. Should have got somebody else involved, talk to him before finishing up. But I think some of the things we'll talk about, highlights. You can tell me if you agree or disagree. I think all the actors, the main actors, are fantastic choices. I didn't have a single issue with any of the actors in here, Mike. I don't think any of them didn't sell the characters they were doing.
Yeah, the performances are great. I would say even iconic. Some of the best interpretations I've seen of these characters on screen.
And I will tell you this: the highlight character to me, and I think a lot of people, Mr. Terrific, probably the best. I guess Superman movie, but like Mr. Terrific, I'm like, I'd watch a whole movie just on this dude and what he's doing out in the world, because I don't know that actor, but he did play. He was in X-Men First Class as
Darwin.
This is the character I want him to play. He was just so down to earth, kind of over the bullshit most of the time, and it was so fun. He was great. But on the flip side of that, Mike, I think there were a lot of characters in here, and they may have things down the road, like maybe some. If they do a Daily Planet spinoff, these characters would have some news. But like there are like a lot of people in this Daily Planet thing. I'm like, who are you and why are you here? Kind of deal sometimes, right? So I was like, okay, that's fine. You're here to share a line or two, or you're James Gunn's friend and he wrote you a little piece. But there's just a lot. I think there are too many moving pieces in here sometimes, like character wise, like that you have to keep tabs on. But I could see him laying some seeds to use them later. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a Daily Planet spinoff is something we'd bring up on the show and I'd roll my eyes at because it's the last thing I want to watch a TV show about.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, love their characters. Everyone else was just kind of like there to say, oh, this is a working newspaper in a way. But I mean, I'd love to jump into spoilers now because I feel like we got so much to talk about.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I highly recommend anyone watch this. Like I even though I am not as positive as Mike would be, I don't regret watching this, and I think people should watch this movie. I think it's a good time, and people who probably are less, who aren't thinking about the movie on levels we're talking about or thinking about it, Mike, would probably have an even better time than we did at the end of the day. So I think that's the last bit. So let me put the time codes in for spoilers here. So they're going to start here in just a second. Mike, go on and give it to us.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that Mr. Terrific scene. His fight scene
His
on the beach
T-spheres.
before he finds that interdimensional portal. They're spheres. They're not circles. They're
Yeah.
3-dimensional.
Yeah.
His character is like so much fun. I love the way he fights. It reminded me a lot of Shang-Chi when he gets the 10 rings. You know, you have all of these individual things flying around. It's just like, oh yeah, this is from an era of when just like comic books are supposed to be like fun. Like, what's a cool thing a character can like beat a bad guy with? Like these fears, they're just fun.
Well, if you look at all the fight scenes in the Guardians movies, it feels like a Guardians fight scene. Like, you know, like especially like, it was in Guardians 3 when they're all going down the hallway together. And like Groot's like stabbing people and like swinging back and forth and rockets flipping around. James Gunn took that action and the stuff he knows and put it in there, and I loved it. Like that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And even though I'm gonna say James Gunn used the music at the end of the movie, like over like the Ma and Pa scenes, like it like overpowered the dialogue. The music in this scene was awesome. I absolutely enjoyed the song that he chose for that scene there.
Yeah. And I feel like Mr. Terrific is kind of like the epitome of this world that was created. I didn't need to know why he had a flying like spaceship or plane or pod or what you want to call it. I didn't need to know how he got the ability to like be a master of technology. He just showed up on the scene with gusto and with
confidence.
the Justice gang. Yes,
yeah,
to
they showed
be
confidence, and they were like, "We're here to do this," and you're like, "Oh, that lady has a mace and screeches like a hawk." Awesome.
Yeah. And I love how feral those screeches were too.
Yes.
Like it felt like, oh yeah, this is a warrior,
Yeah.
you know, from I think the origin of Hawk Girl kind of changes sometimes.
Yeah,
like
she's an
isn't it
alien,
sometimes like
or she's a
sometimes
god.
it's time travel. Yeah, so I was just like, wherever she's from, she's a brutal warrior, and I love it.
Yep.
And then Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern was like such a choice, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, what a great haircut to embody his personality. It was it's so perfect.
And all the middle fingers he was flipping at the end as well. Against the war, like he's like taking everything out with like a wave of his hand, but like I'm like, there's gonna be one middle finger. Like, no, every other one was a middle finger that he was using.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when they're just all fighting the interdimensional imp in the background, and you just see like his like green like baseball bat or stick just whacking it like over and over again. And then at the end of the scene, you just see it like in a net just like slowly float off into the distance of the city. I was like, I love this world. Like, you can just do anything. And I think this is just really important because when the movie was over, I had probably a similar thought you did, Chris, of just like, okay, Gunn, let's get you out of these movies. You know, you wrote, you directed this one. We all know sometimes you can lean a little bit too into some of your decisions. So I would love to see the next Superman either written by somebody else or directed by somebody else, you know, just to keep things moving. Like, Gunn, you got to run an entire universe here. Let's keep things going. But he made such a great decision of anchoring the world the way it is. Yeah. Now you can just bring in any story you need just almost effortlessly. I mean, and I've talked about this before with the Amazon Prime Invincible TV show. The same thing works there. Like, you'll start a brand new episode of Invincible, they'll introduce a whole new character, and like the backstory does not take that much time because you don't have to beg the audience to believe all of these.
The rules are there's aliens,
mechanisms. Yeah.
There's metahumans, and like there's another dimensional portal that you can access, right? Like the three big things, like, right? You've got like everything's already set up for you, so yeah, you can just jump right in and play with it. And I agree. I think it is great. Like some of the action scenes, some of the cool stuff's in there, but like, I want to tell you, Mike, I have two really big complaints about this movie that really take it down a notch. Number one, the choice that the villain is just a clone of Superman is the laziest thing you could ever do in a movie like this. Like, you have every opportunity to do anything you want, and your villain created a clone of Superman, and that's it. That's the best you can do here.
I was also kind of hoping, if this is kind of supposed to be an interpretation of Bizarro Superman in a way, which is a pretty iconic character. I mean, maybe the mainstream doesn't necessarily know Bizarro Superman, but I would say the culture knows the word. The culture knows the word Bizarro. People probably use, "Oh, this is my friend Jack. Oh, and this is my other friend Jack. This is Bizarro Jack."
Seinfeld had a whole episode about Bizarro Jerry.
Exactly. So I was kind of hoping when the mask came off, it would at least be disfigured in some way, kind of lean into the character. And then I kept waiting for him to get like pummeled in the face with like something specific to kind of change, the visuals of the character. But then it gets sucked into a black hole. I mean, I guess he could come back. This is a DC world, and something could come out of a black hole.
It's not the negative zone. It's the Phantom Zone from like the original movies, right? Where it's like a black hole kind of thing. Like, yeah, he's not off the table completely by any means. But I was like, you have everything. You have everything in the DC playbox, like in your sandbox, right? Nothing is off limits. No one is telling you no, James Gunn. You own this, and you came up with a clone of Superman, and I'm like, God damn it! That was such a letdown for me, because I was hoping it was like, maybe it was like, even if it was like multiversal or something else, we made somebody, it's somebody else with different powers or something. But it was just kind of like not the big reveal I thought it was going to be. And on the other side, all Lex Luthor wants is fucking real estate again. He just wants land in another country. That's his big ploy in all this, was to get half a country's worth of land. Like, what? Why are you doing that? Like, we come in, Lex Luthor, LexCorp exists. Does Lex actually leave that room that he's in for this movie, other than the 2 times he was on television? Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, like, he never left that control rooms, other than hey, we went down into the portal whenever he was telling Superman about Metamorpho, and like he's up there just yelling at a monitor the whole time. I'm like, man, I was really hoping for like maybe a power suited Lex Luthor. Or somebody else, like doing, like, nothing against Nicholas Hoult. He was awesome in this. But what he was written for motivations and where he was just kind of a whimper to what he could have been doing, like, globally, right? So
yeah, I never thought about it before, but yeah, he was really just in 2 locations. He had pretty easy filming scenarios there. I mean, the performance was amazing, and I won't knock him for that. Absolutely. For sure. But I mean, if we're bringing up the entanglement of country borders, one of the weakest parts of the movie for me, in my opinion, if you're going to do something like geopolitical, politics in any way or a movie, you either need to totally graze over it, or you need to really dive deep into it. When you just land in the middle, it just feels like you're either trying to write for like children, which they don't really care about the political side of things, or you're not writing it good enough to make it feel believable in any way. I mean, you can't take this movie out of the current world that we live in. And I understand it was written a couple years ago, but there was still one big country invading a smaller country when this movie was being written, and it's been televised nonstop. It's been all over social media. And if somebody wants to present me some war photography or something that maybe proves this in some light, I just don't think an invasion looks like a bunch of takes on the other side of a chain link fence and then 100 extras with pitchforks in the middle of like a desert. Like, it just seems like silly to me. Like, that's when it kind of feels bad Saturday morning cartoon of just like, hey, we need to do warfare, but it needs to pass like the Y7 age rating. Like, what are we gonna do? Right. And it felt silly. It kind of felt it felt immature in a way. And it just
didn't feel fleshed
bogged
out.
The whole movie.
It didn't feel fleshed. If that was going to be the point, it didn't feel fleshed out. There's, like we said, there's too many moving pieces in this movie. And while yes, it is fun, we can forget about some things. Like, seeing the Justice League or the Hall of Justice was cool, right? Like, it's under construction, but like there's only 3 people in the Justice Gang, if you will. 4 now metamorphosed at the end. But like that fight felt like a Dragon Ball Z fight. Like, we need to go where people aren't, going to get hurt kind of deal. And they go to this really nondescript sand and grass area. And the whole
Yeah.
time they're like,
Now,
nobody, and they're like, the whole time, like, nobody got hurt, nobody died. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I mean,
at all. Yeah.
and it's like on the other side though, I love the concept of it, right? I love the idea that Superman has to make these choices that have ramifications, and even if he wants to be good, we live in such a complicated world that it's not as simple as it used to be. And I love the conversation he has with Lois where she interviews him as Superman, because she brings up a lot of like great points of like, yeah, if you're all powerful, you can just like fly to another country and like stop a war, but like you can't be there 24/7. Like, what's the ramifications of this? So I love the concept that it does reinforce that Superman, all he wants at the end of the day is just people not to die. Whether you're good or bad, whether you're a giant kaiju, I'm going to save the squirrel, but also I want to save the kaiju.
Yeah.
Like, I know him taking the idea of an interdimensional zoo is kind of silly,
so-
but also like that's like Superman. That is what he would want to do, you know?
We're gonna time out there because there's a toy of these like Yetis, and they were gonna have scenes filmed of this interdimensional zoo in the Fortress of Solitude of like creatures he saved, because there's like the Yeti toys and like that, like, so that was a point that they took out of this. Now, this was all rumors beforehand, and we haven't talked about this, but I feel it. This movie was supposed to have like little title cards like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, this is like supposed to be the week of Superman. And
I kind of like that.
I feel it. Like, does it not feel like that when you're watching? Like, oh, this was a Monday, and this was the Tuesday, and this was the Wednesday. Kind of week, because everything happens really, really fast in this, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think there was some stuff cut out that they did that would have been a little silly, but like, you maybe just cut that line out about the zoo thing, like, right? Like, maybe like, we don't need that, because the interdimensional quote unquote zoo was the prison Lex also had at the end.
Yeah, but at the risk of myself wading into international politics, it wasn't the message trying to get across. It was just the execution of it just kind of felt silly. But I did like watching Hot Girl just drop that dictator to the ground. That was pretty satisfying. That was also accompanied with a very guttural, savage yell.
When she came through the
really
hallway,
fun.
it was pretty awesome, like screeching like the hog. That.
So that stuff is sick. And then I guess I'll just roll into like other.
Well, let's talk about crypto, because crypto we don't talk about. I feel there's too much crypto, and he saves Superman every time in this movie. Superman never saves himself. Crypto has saved him every time in this movie.
Yeah, there is a smidge too much crypto.
Nothing against him. Like, he's a great character, but they have too much reliance on him, I feel.
Yeah, because I'm always looking out for the final battle in a movie. When a hero is trying to get the leg up on the bad guy, they have to do it with their ingenuity, with their skill, or with sacrifice. And I like the idea that Superman calls in Crypto to like take out the cameras, so he can't control this clone of Superman, aka Ultraman, whatever he's supposed to be, so he can get the leg up on it. Like, that's great. But then also when you have Crypto come in, and I guess Crypto doesn't really save him in that pocket dimension. He kind of just makes everything
he
worse.
saved Crypto, and then Crypto, like, didn't he, he dragged him to the T-sphere. He showed him where the T-spheres were, because he chased him. So
yeah, I guess
he showed him where the exit was.
But maybe a smidge too much Crypto. But overall, I mean, it's shocking to say that a fully CG dog in a cape was even effective in any way, right? Like, can you imagine that being included in an Superman movie? It never would have worked.
Well, no, yeah, but knowing James Gunn and how well he has pulled off Rocket Raccoon for the past decade, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. James Gunn knows how to handle animals and care, and Crypto's an absolutely awesome character. I'm not an anti-dog, but boy, was it like, just like, he was, every situation Superman was down, Crypto had to save him. I was like, okay, well, come on now.
I did I mean, it led to a really fun reveal at the very end that Crypto was his cousin's, aka Supergirl's dog. I mean, that kind of fit perfectly. Of like, why is Superman even putting up with this dog? Like, it's barely netting him positive results that he's looking for. But also, it makes sense why he would like go, quote unquote, to the ends of the earth to get this dog back, because he's fostering.
And the Supergirl calling him "Thanks for watching my dog, bitch" was like one of my favorite lines of this whole thing. I'm like, all right, now I'm excited for Supergirl, even though this is all we get from her, and she's probably not going to be like this the whole next movie. I absolutely love that scene. That was like a great stinger, if you will, to end that on.
Yeah, it was so much fun. There's so many. I loved this like negative pocket dimension. Because we have Mr. Terrific kind of like setting up the bounds for this pocket universe of just like, yes, this is a very unique and special thing and a very powerful thing, but also like very unstable. It's very irresponsible. It's like pitch perfect Lex Luthor. This is exactly what he would do. And I loved the production design around these portals, like real sparks flying off this thing.
Looked unstable.
Looks like it looks like you're crawling through like a freaking active jet engine, and it just goes to show you that like Lex is very careless, but whatever he can do to get the job done, he'll worry about like the fallout and consequences later. And there was even like a really fun and creative like musical sting that correlated with a lot of the entrances and exits of this portal, which I was like, I'm just loving this movie. Some of the atmosphere and the vibes are really, really
the proton river, anti-proton river rules were a bit weird. They were like, oh, if we touch it, we'll be destroyed in seconds. But like, obviously Superman's different, so he can live it. But like, trying to save baby Joey the whole time was a fun scene. Like, watching him constantly struggle versus what I call the Minecraft river, because it was just kind of blocky the whole time. No complaints. I think it was a fun scene, and also seeing Metamorpho as like a disembodied squid head because he used his body for the ass earlier. I'm like, this is an interesting character. I need to learn more about you later, but now's not the time. But yeah, again, I had a good time. I just think James Gunn, left to his own devices, really sold himself short a couple places on here, if you will. Trying to think. Lois Lane also didn't get a lot of screen time. Lois was kind of shafted in terms of screen time. What do you think? I feel.
I felt like whether if it was short or not, I felt like it was the appropriate amount. Okay. The journalism that she participated in was sometimes good, sometimes bad. Drag on the movie. Like I said, I loved her interview with Superman at the beginning. But boy, would I love to go back to a reality where if you just publish the truth, everyone believes in it and everything goes back to normal. There's this incredibly cringy moment at the end of the movie where I don't even think it's happening on screen. It's from like a disembodied TV reporter that just says like, oh, well, we got it all wrong and we all owe Superman an apology. He was a good guy all along. And it's like, and I'm not even exaggerating. It was something like that. And I was like, this is awful. I would have loved it if they kind of left it maybe a little bit more ambiguous, or at least they showed us instead of telling us, the classic kind of movie rule. And it was like, oh, this is bad. This is not how you fix this.
Yeah, and Michael Ian Black was a fun addition as like the shock jock radio person back and forth. Peacemaker, did not expect him to show up there.
Yeah, that was a fun cameo.
Cameo. And then we had a brief appearance of James Gunn's brother as Maxwell Lord. I think maybe a magazine cover. Overall, but yeah, I mean, it's a good starting off point. I'm not hating this. I don't. The question someone asked me yesterday is like, would I watch it again? I'm like, probably, but I would probably have to wait a year before I watched it again, right? Like, I feel like I got everything. Like, I don't have to go back and like, did I miss something? What did I not get? I feel like I come back in a year and be like, yeah, okay, same kind of movie over. But the next movie or the next series is Peacemaker season 2, and Supergirl is next year, but that's in space with Jason Momoa as Lobo yet again. But overall, like I said, I still say people should watch this. This is not a bad movie. This is a good movie, but not a great movie by any means. Mike, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up here?
It was a breath of fresh air. I'm looking forward to what this universe has in front of us. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, I'm also disappointed Creature Commandos really didn't get any play in this. I thought they'd do something more than include Rick Flag Sr. as like a guy who walked around looking disappointed most of the time. But maybe that'll be safe for Peacemaker season 2. But overall, that's it. Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, buddy?
Yeah, they can read my webcomics at liferewardsrisk.com and pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch you, where are you at?
Find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or Video Game Systems with the same name. If people want to know more about the show, where they can see all these show notes with these links and all the other cool stuff, where can they get that at?
Oh, all you have to do is visit superheroslate.com. That is where you can find our ice-encrusted castle with our sassy robots on the inside.
Alan
Which we didn't even
Tudyk.
talk about. Yeah, those robots were fun. They were fun watching getting dismantled, too. Coming and going. I love those robots. But you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love listening to podcasts. We got merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Let us know, what did you think about Superman? Which wasn't supposed to be called Superman Legacy, and then it got that got chopped, and now it's just Superman.
Yeah, and the same thing, Supergirl is no longer Supergirl. Woman of Tomorrow is just Supergirl. So yeah, we're gonna. It did change.
Move the just Facebook. And we love our super fans. If you want to be a super fan of this show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.